Is joining the military worth it for the pay? Well, to make that decision, we need to get a better understanding of what it is and what it is not. What it is a job. What it is not is industry competitive. Well, let's get more into it. What it is a tax benefit. Military pay is a combination of taxable and non-taxable income that the government gives its military personnel in order to sustain a livelihood or a life. So the taxable income that a person receives is called their base pay. Base pay is based off of how long the person has been in service and what rank they are in service. There is a delineation between officers, warrant officers, and enlisted personnel. They can be in for the same amount of time, but because of the responsibilities that they are tasked with, their pay is different. Bonuses are another taxable form of income. Now, the stipulation with bonuses are that they may not be taxable if they are received when they are in a non-taxable zone, which is typically a hazard zone or a combat zone, which will be outlined and the military person will know beforehand, at which time that money is not taxed. There's also allowances. Allowances are made for specific needs, and these are non-taxable. Allowances include things such as your basic allowance subsistence, or your BAS, which is used for things such as groceries and food. That is a standard amount that is given across the board no matter what your rank is. And with your BAS, only those who are approved will receive their BAS. Those who do not fall into those categories will have their BAS deducted. It will show on their leave and earning statement, which is essentially their pay stub every month, that is deducted so that it can pay for the food that is in the chow hall or the dining facility for that military branch. Another allowance is the basic allowance for housing, or BAH. BAH is based off of the rank of the service member as well as their zip code and if they are married or have dependents. Now, the amount of dependents does not affect how much money you get, just the fact if you have dependents or if you do not have dependents. You have to meet certain stipulations in order to rate BAH or BA. If you don't rate it, then you will stay in what is called the barracks. BA is given so that military members and their family are able to live out in town, which is off of the military installation, and survive. So this is also non-taxable. From my understanding, the intent behind BA is so that the military member and their family can use this allowance to cover their utilities as well as their rent or their mortgage. Whenever a military member likes to live on base, in the base housing, typically this BA is taken out of their paycheck and deducted, at which point they are no longer responsible for worrying about paying for utilities. They just have to live and upkeep the house. There's also special and incentive pay. Special and incentive pay is tax-free and is typically given whenever there's an inconvenience impressed on you and your dependents by the military, such as being separated from a prolonged period of time, excess of 30 days, or you are being put into a hazard or a danger zone. Okay. What military pay is not. Military pay is not industry competitive. You do not get paid more or less money based off of your knowledge base, based off the amount of work you do or that you are asked to do, or the responsibilities that you are given. Nor do you get paid more money based off your workload or the hours that you work. You get paid the exact same amount no matter if you are working from 9 to 5 or if you're working from 3 a.m. until 6 p.m. or if you're on a 24-hour duty where you have to stand guard on post, not based off of your workload. An example, you may be asked to go on training exercises where you're out in the field for a week or 2 weeks conducting training and you cannot go home. You're not entitled to a child hall or a bath or any of those things like that. You're still going to get paid the same. If you are giving a higher billet than what your rank typically rates, you do not get paid more money. So your workload may increase, but you don't get paid more money. If you go out and you learn or you contribute something new to the military, you do not get paid more money for that. The only time your pay increases is whenever you've been in longer and you meet that threshold, or if you get promoted. Those are the only times that your pay is increased. So like, for instance, now during this quarantine, their pay is the same as if they were going into work every single day. However, back when there were threats of a furlough, and military members were likely not going to get paid, they still had to show up to work and do their job. Also, if you get in trouble, your commanding officers or your superiors have the ability to take away from your pay or cut your pay in half, as well as restrict you. So if you get in trouble, you could also be forfeiting your pay, or you could have the possibility of getting demoted, which also takes away from your pay. So to reiterate what it is not industry competitive. It is not always guaranteed no matter what. And it is not dependent on your workload or level of responsibilities per se. Now, let's talk about what the United States baseline is for financial expenditures. The average American typically pays around $550 on car payments for a brand new car. For a used car, it's about $350, $400. Or from our frugal people, you can buy a beater for like $5K. Now, insurance wise, the average person spends about $1,500 a year on insurance, which comes out to be approximately $750, a little bit more every 6 months, is approximately $130 a month. This brings the baseline amount for a car payment and insurance to being about $680 for a new car and $520 for used cars every month. For those who have student loans, the average person who completes a bachelor's degree goes into debt anywhere from $40,000 to $144,000. In fact, we cover that in another video, which I will link above. Check it out. Now we could take that monthly payment for student loan debt and add that as well. Families. This is where stuff gets tricky. Family is where things really start adding up, because you have to now start incorporating housing, clothing, transportation, and food. For lower income families, it is estimated that it will cost approximately $174,000. For upper income families, it is estimated it will cost approximately $372,000 in order to raise a child from birth until the age of 17. Now, I will tell you, as a divorcee that does not receive alimony or child support or anything like that, I pay for my 9-year-old in everything that he does, and it currently costs me about $1,000 a month, and that's just including the extra fees that come with having an additional person, as far as with food, utilities, transportation, daycare expenses, and buying clothes and shoes and stuff like that. So now that you have a understanding of what military pay consists of and what it is not, as well as the average American's debt incurring responsibilities are, let's talk about the 3 categories within the rank structure and how they are paid. The 3 types of service members are officers, warrant officers, and enlisted members. The category of service member that gets paid the highest are officers. These are people who have a minimum of a bachelor's degree whenever they decide to go and commission. They get paid more because they have a higher level of responsibility. The second highest paid category is a warrant officer. Warrant officers do not have to have degrees. However, a warrant officer is an enlisted member who applied and was accepted to be a subject matter expert in their field. Because your pay is determined based off of your rank as well as your time in service, warrant officers typically do not fall within the category of less than 2 years, so their base pay starts off slightly higher from the moment that they become warrant officers. The third category are enlisted members. These are people who join straight out of high school. Typically, they do not have a college degree. However, there are enlisted personnel that join and they do have a college degree already. They just did not go the officer route for whatever reason. Because E1 through E4 does not make a lot of money, it makes it extremely hard to support a family on a single income, especially when there are other debts incurred. However, entry-level officers and entry warrant officers make enough to support a family if they are living frugally and they don't have excessive debt. For enlisted members, once reaching the rank of E5, which is a sergeant in the Marine Corps, and especially once you reach the rank of a staff NCO or a staff non-commissioned officer in the military, it is a lot easier to support a family. Everything is made readily available on the internet. There are no secrets. You can easily look up how much somebody makes based off of their rank and how long they've been in the military service. Some recruiters will tell you that it's just like a 9-to-5 job, but it's not, because you also have to take into account the 5 days a week that you have to work out, as well as the overtime. You don't always get off at the 4 o'clock or the 1600 time frame. Families are not necessarily a priority in a lot of branches. I think it's a little different for the Air Force, but they're not a priority, and you will not be given special treatment for having a family. So, and the only time in which you are given leniency is whenever you climb the ranks, which is also the same time as whenever you earn more money. Based off of everything you've heard, is it worth it to join the military for the pay? Is it as good as you thought it was or would be? You decide. Let me know in the comments below what you think. So if you enjoyed this period of instruction, if you will, let me know in the comments below. If you didn't, let me know in the comments below. But don't forget to push that subscribe button, push that notification bell so you'll know whenever I drop new videos, and like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, deuces.